Hi, my name is Sofan and I want to talk about a film called The Order. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I watched Skeleton Crew recently and it got me looking at Jude Law's IMDb page, which led me to The Order, and I'm always down for a good bit of historical drama. The Order tells the story of a real white supremacist group from the 80s that rose to power by committing armed robberies to raise funds and murdering a radio host to gain infamy. This film follows their rise to power and chronicles how the FBI agents who caught them did it. It was converted from a book into a screenplay by Zach Balin. Justin Kurzel directed the film, which stars Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, and Ty Sheridan. The Order is a cat-and-mouse game between a trio of detectives and radical extremists. It takes place in a rural city in America and splits its time between high-octane crimes and slow, methodical investigation. Nicholas Hoult plays the heart and brains of the extremists, a mysterious, charismatic leader named Bob who cleverly weaves a path forward. In his sections of the film, there are robberies and then downtime sections with his family and friends in between. They paint the picture of a seemingly normal man with deep-seated hateful convictions that drive him to insane lengths. He surrounds himself with like-minded individuals and together they aspire to reclaim their great nation. Opposite him, working for the police, is grizzled FBI agent Terry Husk, played by Jude Law, and his chipper sidekick, Jamie Bowen, portrayed by Ty Sheridan. Law plays Husk as a tense, angry, and bitter cop who's seen more shit than he can remember. He rampages forward at the extremists with a fervor that can't be stopped while showing a few cracks of vulnerability. Beside him, Sheridan's Jamie Bowen does his best to keep up, but he's inexperienced. He makes up for it by being passionate, knowing the area well, and having a few connections to the Order that they can use. With help from Husk's partner, played by Journey Smollett, the two hunt down leads and interrogate witnesses while trying to build a case against Bob and his group. Okay, now that you know what it is, let's talk about how they did. For positives, there's a little bit of good in every category. The story is full of ups and downs and exciting moments. It starts off with a bang and quickly jumps in headfirst for a wild ride. There's criminal conspiracy, family drama, and a battle of the minds between an FBI agent and a criminal leader. They give you little snippets of action in between drama sessions, which leads to a lot of heightened conflicts. You care about the people going into battle and want to see where they end up. Along the way, they throw some nasty twists at the audience to spice things up and end it with a blowout finale. Most of the cast does a solid job of portraying their roles. There's even a few big performances from actors Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult, with a few solid side performances from Journey Smollett and Ty Sheridan. Each of them creates a colorful character and does a good job selling their individual journeys. Jude Law's bitter old cop routine works wonderfully to lead us through the tale, while Smollett, Sheridan, and Hoult give us different perspectives on the issues at hand. There's a lot of great emotional work here, especially from Law and Hoult. I loved the rivalry between them and all the little moments where they intersected. It felt like two titans dancing around one another. Visually, the film is clear and concise. It uses basic locations and frames them in interesting ways using perspective and lighting. There's a lot of high contrast shots and a lot of colorful mid-shots that capture the dialogue in a more palatable way. The action tends to be straightforward as well as realistic. You have people taking cover and exchanging fire with lots of badly aimed shots, slow foot chases through rural neighborhoods, and a couple of tense armed robberies. They do a good job of driving home the impact of the deaths while not focusing too heavily on the gore. For standout moments, they had a couple of execution scenes that were incredibly brutal. Each has a unique angle to it to add to the tension as well. Like one is viewed from the side of a car door and another happens like a jump scare. They managed to make them look unique while still driving home the brutality of the action. Sound-wise, the film uses basic instrumentals to support the emotional journey. The tracks add a little bit of tension, sadness, or joy when called for, and don't get in the way of the storytelling. That said, they're a bit bland and forgettable, which leads me to the film's negatives. There aren't many, but they're worth mentioning. For example, some of the cast are a bit stiff. There's a few henchmen working for Bob that are played extremely bland. Their actors monotone deliver their lines and it just comes off as awkward. It's not a huge problem, but there were definitely moments that felt badly acted. The story also has a few holes in it that don't quite make sense. Like where all of Bob's people went after the big recruitment in the church. You never see any of those people again, but they seemed ready to fight. The story works as a whole, but don't look too closely at the details. There's parts they clearly shortcutted through to make it work on film. Personally, I enjoyed the film as a bit of entertainment, but think it's far from a masterpiece. Jude Law and the other leads did great, the action was decent, and the story had some good excitement in it. If you like crime dramas, give this one a go. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 6 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.